Now, as we mentioned, we have a pair of sophomores, and you were a left-handed bowler. Do they have to stand a little more to the outside?
Steve, the Charlie's style is a stroker tight down the outside edge. Mike moves more inside and plays a much bigger hook, turns the ball much stronger, so he's up in the middle of the lane and just throws it out to the gutter and brings it back.
After one frame, he's up by 11, Mike Lichstein. That unusual style is instinctive to his way of bowling. He doesn't feel awkward. It may be awkward watching him.
Steve, he's been bowling 15 of his 19 years, so he's been bowling 15 of his 19 years, as I said, and some of the style of many people has to do with maybe the weight of the ball when they were kids, when they first started. So that can develop a style which will stay with them all their life.
39-year-old Charlie Marshall, his opponent. That hooks, that catches it.
Great shot. It's coming back from the gutter. As I said before, he throws it all the way out to the channel. It comes charging back, and I'm sure he's glad to get that 7-pin out, because I'll tell you in a few minutes some of the problems he had earlier with a 7-pin.
An open frame for Marshall on his first frame.
Good shot.
He leaves the 10-pin.
He got a lot of mix there, but as we say, no messenger. Left the 10-pin on a wall shot shaker. I'm sure he'll have no problems with this spare. He made a good shot, so maybe the butterflies are gone now. He makes the spare.
There's his mark. And so he remains 11 pins down after 2 frames. Now, Charlie Marshall has 2 balls with him to bowl with. If the lane's really hooking well, he'll use that one.
Radio the position to the air patrol, and I left.
I know all about that, but why didn't you bring them back with you?
He didn't make a good shot. He made a good one that time. I don't think he has any problems with any differences between the 2 pair. He just simply was nervous on his first shot. He made a good shot the 2nd frame, repeated it the 3rd. I still look for a good match here.
Mike Lichstein up by 11 with a strike. Oh, messenger off the channel.
Great break. A great break there with the 10-pin.
And a double for Mike Lichstein.
He's now 21 up as he moves to the left lane for his 4th frame.
He does get a good mix, no question about it.
Throws a lot of ball for a young man. And a little guy, too. I'm guessing he probably weighs about 125 pounds.
That's right, exactly. 5'9". That was special delivery right there.
That's the messenger I was talking about. Solid 8-pin leave, almost. Had 1 pin left in action on the lanes. Now watch it as it comes across and get the 8-pin. There we go. 2 good breaks.
And if those breaks continue, this young man, who is only 19 years old but a veteran bowling, would have a chance of $200,000 in top prize money, and we asked him what he would do with it.
It's quite hard to say. $200,000 is a lot of money. I'll probably put most of it in the bank, maybe invest into something with my father. He sponsored me in this today, and that's quite hard to believe, actually, more than anything.
Your father was on the tour, and he also does a lot of repair work with the guys on the tour, and a familiar face, Larry. He never dreamed that this amount of money could be amassed in bowling, I would imagine, from the days when they used to get their paycheck.
Yeah, the Pro Bowlers Tour has grown quite a bit, since it started, but the biggest check they can bowl for is $100,000 in the U.S. Open. And amateur bowling is just on the big boost. You know, a lot of big tournaments with the high roller people and other people that also do the same type of match play tournaments. I think it's great for, you know, people not at the professional caliber. It's just, the money is just is unbelievable, really.
Unbelievable for the top 4. You get $25,000 for finishing in 4th place. So, as you look at the scores in the 19-year-old Mike Lichstein on top, and we'll be back to the high roller tournament after this.
At last, a wistful, warm, and wise movie. Jeffrey Lyons, sneak previews, CBS Radio. Britt Lancaster gives a wonderful performance. Janet Maslin, New York Times. Not since On Golden Pond has there been such a loving film. Susan Granger, WMCA Radio. It's a 10, the year's best movie so far. Gary Franklin, KABC Radio. Rocket Gibraltar, rated PG. Opens Friday at a theater near you.
If you want to buy shoes, you go to a shoe store. Why then, if you want to buy a car, do you go to a dealership? We all know what happens at a dealership. But at the car store, Skasel Volkswagen in Auburn, the cars are for sale, on sale, and the clerks will let you try them on for size and fit. So come shop the car store, Skasel Volkswagen in Auburn, the little Detroit of the West, for parts, service, used cars, and great new Volkswagens. And at Skasel Volkswagen, we gift wrap.
Super senior Gary Player defeated Bob Charles last year in a dramatic showdown. It could happen again at the Payne Weber Senior Invitational, Friday afternoon at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Welcome back to the High Roller Tournament in Las Vegas. Steve Gratt and Bill Allen with you. We are now in the 8th frame of our first semifinal match, and this powerful young lefty, Mike Lichstein, has a fairly comfortable lead.
He wants this one bad.
Trying for a double.
This puts him in great position to win the match. You see his exuberance as you hear the contingency from New Jersey and New York. A lot of bowlers here from that area, and they're all behind Mike.
And his club, Kidlets of America, the young teenage bowlers. Mike goes up by 25 pins. Charles Marshall really needs to come on strong now. He also needs a break. He left his first frame open. He has 2 strikes, 4 spares so far. Too high, leaves the 6.
Again, just like the last time on 60. He comes up a little too quick at the line. Ball goes a little high, leaving the 6 pin.
I've heard all kinds of tips for slowing down. Even counting your steps will make you concentrate and slow down if you're rushing the line.
Sometimes you have to talk to yourself on the way to the line to make yourself do what you need to do.
Marshall covers, and he's down by 26. And this is the first time Marshall has entered a high roller play. Earlier we had a chance to ask him about his success on his first try. What did it take for you to make it to the Final Four on your first trip to the high roller?
Well, most of all, because of the luck of the draw as it is, a lot of that is involved. You've got to shoot some off games and win. And I had a couple of those just like everybody else did. But at this point, there's a little less of that involved because the bowlers that are left are top-notch players. And so it's going to take a good game to win from here on out.
And Charlie Marshall, like the other 3 semifinalists, has been undefeated in his 9 previous games. Remember, there's big, big prize money in this high roller event. The winner advances on to the finals and a chance for $200,000. He cut a wider path that time, came up high. The 10, oh my word. The 6 fell, hit the 10, but the return came down.
As the machine touched it, it was very close to the machine hitting the 6 pin. Our tournament director, Brad Edelman, I'm sure was watching watching close, and if the machine had hit the 6 pin, it would have to go back up.
He's down by 27 pins. And he hooked it too close, left it open, and that should about do it.
Got a little careless there, Steve. He got too slow, hooked it into the gutter, and unfortunately, he loses this match, but he still will be in the semifinal match for 3rd and 4th and can still make $50,000.
So stay with us. We will have our next semifinal match when we return to the High Roller Tournament from Las Vegas.
No matter what anyone tells you, the Wall Street Journal cannot make you a success overnight. Which is why we suggest a 13-week subscription.
Call 800-372-3000 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-372-3000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Golf, a sport for all seasons. And 12 months a year, ESPN brings you the best of the PGA Tour. Coverage from 3 of golf's Grand Slam events, the finest Lady Linksters, and those swinging seniors. Join the world's greatest golfers for heart-stopping and heart-breaking thrills all year long. For live coverage that's far better than par for the course, ESPN.
We are ready to begin the second semifinal match at the 7th Annual High Roller Tournament with Bill Allen. I'm Steve Grant, and our next 2 opponents will be Ed Karwinski and Harry Mickelson. This is Harry Mickelson, and what a story he is. Real stories in this match. Real unique bowlers.
This gentleman is from Kodiak, Alaska. He's on the Team USA. He's excited about being here because he told me he wants to improve his match play experience for the Team USA later this year in Florida.
And Ed Karwinski, who is going first, is even a more amazing story because Ed was born with cerebral palsy. He has it on his right side, and that has not stopped this man from being a .232 average bowler, and watch him go. First frame, a strike.
Steve, he told me it's his first time on TV, but he didn't throw that ball like it's his first time.
Great pocket hit for Ed Karwinski from Mount Clemens, Michigan, outside Detroit. Harry Mickelson from South Dakota moved to Kodiak 20 years ago to teach. Rolls a rather straight ball, hooks at the last second too high. Luckily, he didn't get a split. He left a 6.
Seems happy about that. Fill the first frame. Get the nervousness out of the way.
Harry's 42. He's been bowling since he was 7 years old. He's married to Charlotte. His children are 19-year-old Sherry and 11-year-old Jess. Going for that 6. Whoa. It almost came back on him.
He looked like he stuck just a little bit and let that ball go very early. Fortunately, he doesn't throw a big hook. He doesn't turn the ball real strong. As we watch here, I think he did stick just a little bit. Fortunately, he doesn't lift the ball real strong, or he'd have missed that one.
Now in the second frame, we're even. Harry Mickelson on a spare.
Loves all sports, especially bowling.
There's the pocket hit, and he misses the 10.
Got a little fire in him for 42. I'm not sure. He may be the oldest contestant we've had on our TV show in the high roller. I'm not sure, but I don't recall anyone other than the kids.
Well, the great thing about the high roller, we had a 14-year-old entered, and we had a 70-year-old entered. And the 70-year-old made it all the way to the final 32. Here's his second cover. Second spare. He's down by 1 pin. Another full house here at the Showboat. As always, they love their bowling here at the Showboat in Las Vegas.
Steve, this is the most exciting week that I've ever seen in bowling. The noise, the enthusiasm, the adrenaline, the way that regions get together behind their bowlers, it's just unbelievable.
Ed Karwinski trying for a double. Pocket hit again.
Got it. Great shot. Very determined young man.
He's up by 11. He's got a very deep, deep voice, and he's going to go to school for that. He hopes to get into voiceovers and
broadcasting.
Straight broadcasting, yes. He calls his delivery an end-over-end roll. He doesn't know if it's a semi-spinner or a roller. Or it looks like a roller there. Came in the other side for a lefty.
Cut that shot short quite a bit. Got away with it. A 9 count. Easy spare as he leaves the 8-pin. Still
He's
has
up
a
by 10.
10-pin lead.
Over Harry Mickelson from Team USA. He leaves that 8. The 8 can taunt you and taunt you and taunt you, especially a left-hander.
You know, Steve, that's a spare that a left-hander rarely ever shoots at. Although it should be a simple spare, it's one that you take for granted because it is a single pin.
With that open, Harry Mickelson goes up 2. And he's on a spare, yet to make a strike. In the pocket. This time, the 10-pin falls, and Harry Mickelson takes advantage. He's up by up by 2.
Wants to take the money back to Alaska, you can tell that.
His high league average was 220. There's his sponsors, Jim and Susan Kent.
They don't seem too excited at this moment.
I wouldn't want to have the stomach lining on it.
Good shot.
That 10 is stubborn.
Now his sponsor is beginning to get excited.
Keep her out there now, Harry. Keep her out.
He's still up by 2, trying to get a spare in frame number 4. Remember, that ball has a diameter of 8.5 inches. And the pin at its widest point is 4 3/4. You got a lot of opportunity to hit it. Stay on that bridge. See? That's exactly what I was talking about. People think you got to hit it dead on, but you don't. So we are nearly halfway through the second semifinal match between Harry Mickelson and Ed Karwinski, and it is very, very close. Stay with us at the High Roller Tournament.
There's a level of performance that separates the good from the great. That's why Carmen Salvino designed the Ebonite Thunderbolt. The exclusive power core increases gyroscopic action for a sharper hook on heavy oil. And the Thunderbolt rolls farther before hooking, so it hits harder for less deflection and more striking power. The difference between good and great is the power of the Thunderbolt.
Okay, listen up. Oakley here is filling in for Bob tonight.
For 3 years, Bill Oakley took orders. But tonight, he's got to stand up and take charge.
You make America work.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser. For all the guys who know it's not what you say, but what you do.
Opportunities are problems, troubles. If the boss has a problem that he can't solve and you can solve it, you're on your way.
We may have a 5-year plan that says we're going to go hunt deer. But if a duck flies by, shoot it, because that's meat too. See, that's reacting to opportunity. We may not find a deer today and we could go hungry tonight. If a duck goes by, we can have duck for dinner.
Living Legends, weekday mornings on Nation's Business Today.
Welcome back to our second semifinal match at the High Roller Tournament in Las Vegas. Harry Mickelson has surged ahead, and Ed Karwinski has a lot of catching up to do. Ed Karwinski coming way out.
Steve, he got that one so wide it just hung out there on the channel. Almost dropped in. A lot of pins for that shot.
All he's got to do now is hit the pocket and he gets himself a spare.
That's right.
1-3. Ed Karwinski trails by 18 pins. That comes up, covers it well. Down by 18, he needs a big foundation here into the 9th frame. He can get a 200.
And with Harry going at a 198 pace, he can still win the match if Harry doesn't double. But he must start here, the foundation frame. They always count more on the end.
Yes, good pin action, nice mix.
He told me earlier that the worst matches he had in this tournament was his first 3, as he was nervous about getting his sponsor his money back. After he won those 3, got his sponsor his money back, he's been loose ever since.
Harry Mickelson leads by 18 in the 9th frame, trying for a double.
Good shot. Good shot.
He left the 10. He had a little trouble on balance, though, on his approach, though, Bill, it seemed.
He seems to have had that problem throughout the match. It really hasn't cost him anything, but a couple of times he's been a little unsure of his footing when he gets to the line. As we watch here, if you watch his left foot, he turns to the left. He looks like he's not quite pleased with just the way he finished, but this ball ends up solid in the pocket for a ring and 10 pin.
He's opposite the 10. That's how you got to cover it. Harry Mickelson spares in the 9th, and he's up by 18. He can get a 208, but he needs a double.
If he gets 208, he would shut out his opponent. As we see Ed there with his head down, inspecting his ball. I think he's changing some tape.
A little light.
He leaves the 2, 4, 8. Ooh. That is a tough spare. Must cover it properly. This is one you can't make, or very rarely can make, if you hit it on the left. Your ball has to come in. And the sponsors, Jim and Susan, are very, very concerned at this point. Covers it.
Covered it beautifully. That is not an automatic spare he just made, especially with that 8 sleeper.
He's got a 15-pin lead, which gives him 5 pins in count. Can still lose the match. He's got 5 pins in count to play with here, and that's not a problem as he counts 8 on his fill ball.
Harry Mickelson, get a good look at him, folks. You may see him in the double Olympics at Korea. Ed Karwinski with 2 strikes and 4 can do it. Short. Oh. That's it. Ed Karwinski defeated by Harry Mickelson, who will try for 3rd place against Charles Marshall. They're the sponsors, the Kents. They're real excited because their man, Harry Mickelson from Kodiak, Alaska, wins his semifinal match and moves on to the championship round against Mike Lichstein, vying for $200,000. Coming up now, Earl Anthony's Bowling Tip, brought to you by Ebonite.
There it is. All right. Hi, I'm Earl Anthony. We all want to be winners. I've had some success over the years. I've had some bad ones over the years. But it's always come back to the most important thing in the game, being prepared both physically and mentally when we're talking about that one shot, whether it be a spare or a strike, that makes you a winner in your league play or in a tournament situation. What makes a good shot in that situation is being both physically and mentally prepared, and you do that by practicing your fundamentals. If you're comfortable with your fundamentals and have good thoughts on the approach, you're going to make a good shot. My key shots are always walk slow, let the ball swing, and swing through my target. If I do that, I'll make a good shot. So then I have a lot of confidence in the shot, and generally I'll make that good shot. And you can too. If you want to be a high roller, practice those fundamentals.
Good advice from the best, Earl Anthony. Stay with us. Coming up next, the championship match.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Darryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is when Billie Jean King turns Bobby Riggs into tennis's court jester.
I hear there's a scene where a West German golfer shoots for birdie from a pretty strange place.
I love it where George Brett calmly disputes his pine tar home run. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love SI. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Preview and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I love that.
You even get the big Summer Olympics special issue and the commemorative Olympic pin set.
And the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all.
I do. How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Hold on. All that great footage, that video's really worth having.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the Summer Olympic special issue, Olympic pin set, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-541-8700.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-541-8700.
Hi, have you heard of a video cassette called the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
Welcome back to the High Roller Tournament at the Showboat in Las Vegas. A good look at the Ebonite Trophy for the champion of this event. 1,403 bowlers entered this tournament, and we are down to the final two battling for $200,000. 19-year-old Mike Lichstein, 42-year-old Harry Mickelson. Quite a contrast.
Steve, I'm just as excited as they are. I just wish there's some way I could bowl for that kind of money. It is so exciting. I've been here all week. I've watched it. It is tremendous. This is a moment we've been waiting for.
Well, Bill, as a Hall of Famer, when you were on the tour, what was the most you won in any tournament?
10,000.
10,000 on the Pro Tour. Quite an amazing difference, $200,000. My goodness, that's, 5 times the Super Bowl share for the winning Super Bowl team last year. Incredible. Now, here's how they got here. Mike Lichstein won over Charles Marshall, 226 to 179. Wasn't close. Lichstein took over with his unorthodox style, his powerful left hook, and in the battle of two left-handers, Lichstein, the younger 19-year-old, won it. Now, Harry Mickelson on Team USA with a good chance to go to the Olympics. He won in a much lower scoring match. He beat Ed Karwinski 193 to 180. Before we get to our championship round, let's point out the type of prize money that people have won here at the High Roller Tournament. Over 7 years, $7,600,000 plus given away in just this year alone. Over $1.5 million in prize money. Right now, as we get set for the championship, here are our finalists. Harry Mickelson, 42 years old, from Kodiak, Alaska, against the youngest member in the Final Four, 19-year-old Mike Lichstein from West Suffield, Connecticut. We are ready for the championship match of the 7th annual High Roller Tournament here at the Showboat Bowling Center in Las Vegas. The winner takes home $200,000. Harry Mickelson, 42 years old, will bowl first on lane 59, and his opponent, 19-year-old Mike Lichstein. Quick follow through. Hits the pocket and strikes.
Great shot, Steve. That's as good as any shot he made in his first match.
And now, Mike Lichstein. We're in Las Vegas, and you realize this man is not old enough to put a quarter in a slot machine yet? I don't think many slot machines can pay off what he is about to bowl for. A little bit high, left the 6.
He looked a little slower on that shot, Steve. Possibly just a little bit. As a result, a little too high, leaving the 6 pin. The moment of truth. I'm as nervous as they must be.
Well, look at this. This kid's 19 years old, and he's already got $100,000 in the bank no matter what he does here. He gets it. So he spares in his first frame, and we are even.
Steve, I have said it before, and I'll say it again. their downfall could be thinking about the money. Don't think about the money. Just play their game.
Well, Harry Mickelson said he's bowling here because it'll help him in international competition and possibly Olympic competition. Meanwhile, this young man, now you're looking at the sponsors, Jim and Susan Kent. They are Harry Mickelson sponsors. This young man will try for Team USA next year. On a spare.
Steve, we have the East Coast, the Northeast Coast against the Northwest, way up there, Alaska.
And Harry Mickelson, originally from South Dakota, trying for a double. Oh, man, the 7 doesn't go, and he shows his chagrin with a hard smack of the fist.
It's a nice shot, Steve, but it shows the lack of carry sometimes with the bowler who just throws it straight rather than really turns it like Mike does.
Leave that solid 10.
Straight ball bowler, though, usually will stay out of trouble. He's not as likely to get in as much trouble as the bowler who uses much more of the lanes, covers more boards.
He covers the spare. And as he said, bowling is alive and well in our 49th state, as we're still even after 2 frames. Now, how do you get on Team USA? He qualified at the state tournament. He won the Alaska State Tournament. He went down to Portland, Oregon, and won the regional. And then he went to the nationals, or in the regional, by the way. 2nd through 5 were left-handers. He was the righty.
Great shot.
Strike that time in the 3rd frame.
Ironically, do you realize he's bowling for $100,000 difference as practice for a tournament that he can earn no money?
That's right. He got the bronze at the Nationals in Detroit. We'll get back to him a little bit. Right now, we've got Mike Lichstein, who is even, working on a strike in his 3rd frame. He left a solid 6 in the 1st frame and spared. Not quite enough mix there to get those final 2 pins down.
Steve, I heard someone in the audience yell twister. I think he twisted that one just a little too much. A little too much skid. Didn't quite finish in the back.
3 still wobbling there. 3-6.
3-6.
He's been bowling since 4 years old, the son of Larry Lichstein, former pro, now service director on the Pro Tour. That could hurt. Those are the sponsors of Mickelson, the Kents.
Yes.
Play the game now.
Do you realize in his earlier match, he missed the 10 pin? Same lane, threw it too wide. He did it again. He is now 12 pins down.
Jack Cook and Judy Moore from the Showboat. Another outstanding event for the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center. Now on an open, he's in the 4th frame, trailing by 12 pins.
Everything he didn't do on the last shot, he did it on that shot.
And Mike Lichstein, the only years of the High Roller Tournament to make it to the finals twice. Stay with us.
At last, a wistful, warm, and wise movie. Jeffrey Lyons, sneak previews, CBS Radio. Burt Lancaster gives a wonderful performance. Janet Maslin, New York Times. Not since On Golden Pond has there been such a loving film. Susan Granger, WMCA Radio. It's a 10, the year's best movie so far. Gary Franklin, KABC Radio. Rocket Gibraltar, rated PG. Opens Friday at a theater near you.
These lips were made for something super.
You'd be surprised who's coming into AMP and mini markets for a Super Sundae for 99 cents.
This is going to be big. My choice of new rich and creamy gourmet frozen yogurt or soft serve. Oh, I love this Super Sundae. I can make it myself. And load it up with all different kinds of yummy toppings, all for just 99 cents. AM/PM Super Sundae is absolutely the best thing I've ever tasted. And I'm not just paying it lip service.
The competitors in this championship round had to win 10 straight games to get to this position.
Steve Grant and Bill Allen back with you for the championship round. For $200,000, Harry Mickelson in the fourth frame, up by 12, trying for a double in this high roller tournament. He's a straight bowler, picks up the pocket, and again leads the 10. Now in this lane, he left the 10.
Both times already. Just a little late coming into the pocket. If I were bowling on that pair, I would move my approach back about 6 inches. Just let the ball turn a little sooner.
Oh, man, he did get that. I'll tell you, this man, you think 42 years old, a school teacher, he's on Team America, Team USA, he wouldn't have any superstitions, but he does have one. And you know what his biggest superstition is? He does not like when he gets either a strike and a spare in the first 2 frames and his opponent gets a spare and a strike, just the reverse. And that's what happened in this match. Mickelson struck on 1, spared on 2, Lichstein spare on 1, strike on 2. Yet it happened earlier today, and of course he won because he's here in the finals. That time, the 10 goes down.
Another great shot. So he likes the left lane, having a little trouble with the right lane, but he's still in the pocket. Good on both lanes.
Now, in the 5th frame, trailing by 12, he has been leaving pins on this number 60 lane for Mike Lichstein in the 5th frame. Quite a mix on that ball.
A duplicate of his last shot.
But he really had to overcome some psychological problem with that lane because he was getting snake bit there, and that time he did it with a solid strike.
He's missed 2 spares on that lane by throwing the ball too wide. Watch this. Great turn on the ball as it comes charging back with all the power he can muster. Great pin action. One of the few times Mike has been behind in his matches throughout this entire tournament.
Trying for a turkey, he's down by 2 pins in the 6th frame. There are the Kents, the sponsors, and Harry Mickelson.
Very intense.
There was only one man in the 1,403 who entered this tournament who didn't seem upset when he lost the first match. And I'll tell you that right after this ball.
Messenger.
You don't see Mickelson's sponsors cheering, but that messenger pin carried and knocked the 7 down. And a turkey for Lichstein. And now Mickelson trails by 8 pins. He's trying for a double. The only man who didn't mind losing was Bill Hassel, who won the New York lottery. And Lichstein will win a lottery of his own if he hangs on. The kingpin refuses to go down, and that makes it a difficult split.
Steve, it appeared as if he tried to loft the ball a little more, which would give him a little more turn on the ball and maybe a little more finish on the back end. It just didn't work. It skidded a little too far, came in light, left the 5-7. He must make this fair.
Always go for the pin closer to you. Line up so it deflects. Whips around that 7 pin.
I think he thought he had it, but he didn't have quite the speed he needed to keep the ball out to the right of the 5 pin.
Now Harry Mickelson trails by 20 as we are in frame number 7. That was his first open, and there's
Mike Lichstein, concentrating hard, does not watch his opponent.
Very light, missed the head pin, leaves himself a bad split. Wow.
It has to shake you, Steve, to have the open the previous frame, even though he had bowled very well on 59. Probably still on his mind, the 5-7, as he made a bad shot. Leaves the washout.
And it's makeable, especially with people of this caliber.
Very much so.
Lichstein still knows from the lack of cheering that his opponent has not done well.
Looks good. If it doesn't hook.
This is the head pin.
This is the head pin.
Open. There was one bowler who entered, hit $1,100 in the quarter keno machine, so he says, oh boy, my entry's failed. Oh boy, a four-bagger for this man.
We've completed 7 frames in our championship match. Stay with us.
You can be part of the next exciting high roller in the New York, Philadelphia areas over the Columbus Day weekend. You may be competing with other amateurs in the next high roller final sponsored by Fairlanes and seen on ESPN. An entry fee of $500 can become a top prize of $75,000 by winning just 10 single-game matches. Winning just 2 games guarantees you getting your entry fee back. Enter by September 30th for additional cashing opportunities. For information, call 1-800-257-6179.
All the names, all the games, all the time. ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
It's much more than a shot in the dark. The celebrities love it, and we think you'll love it too. Star Shot, the Clay Target shooting game, Friday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Jim and Susan Kent watching their share of the $200,000 potential winnings for Harry Mickelson go out the window as Harry has 2 opens and Mike Lichstein has a 4-bagger. And he's up by 42 pins in the 8th frame.
We'd like to thank Chet Henser, our statistician.
By far.
Steve, watch this. Comes charging back a little thin, almost leaves the 7-10, and watch them just wiggle, and simultaneously they fall. Earlier today, he left that and made it.
Harry Mickelson doesn't get a strike. You could say, for all intents and purposes on that last one, 5 in a row, that each of those pins, the 7 and the 10, was worth $50,000 a full. That's the difference in winning and losing. As Mickelson's down by 52 pins in the 8th frame. To this 19-year-old, Mike Lichstein. Lichstein's on a 228 pace, and the most that Harry can get is a 196. But folks, you're going to hear a lot more from Harry Mickelson because he's already competed at the U.S. Olympic training site in Colorado Springs and in West Germany in international competition. And after 12 games in West Germany, this man is the current leader for a spot on the U.S. Olympic bowling team. There are 26 games left, and they will be bowled in Melbourne, Florida.
And Harbor Lanes. I know the place well.
Dejected, Harry Mickelson goes to back as Mike Lichstein with a 55-pin lead and working on 5 straight strikes with his unorthodox style, like a human pretzel. Leaves 2 there. He loves heavy metal music. He wants to possibly open a record store. If he continues at this pace, he can open a chain.
A chain of them, you're right. Do you realize this young man has won 11 matches in a row? And to Harry Mickelson's credit, this is his first loss.
If you're going to chop, this is the time to do it with a 55-pin lead this late in the match. After winning only 2 games, bowlers will get their $1,500 entry back. The next step is $1,750. The and $2,000 payoffs. 33rd through 64th gets $2,400. 17th through 32nd, $3,000. Norm Edelman and his wife Dell doing a great job at this tournament. Messenger fell off the pin deck before it could kick out that 7.
What does a young man 19 years old do with $200,000? His dad's going to be looking for a loan, I know that.
If you bowled in this tournament and came in anywhere from 17th through 32nd, you took home $3,000. He got that 7. 9th through 16 paid $5,300, and 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th took home $10,000. Mike Lichstein finishing up on his spare in the 10th frame. You're looking at a man who at 19 years old has earned himself $200,000 with a 213 finish.
He looks totally drained. It's been a long grind, 5 days.
Well, he kind of lost his balance, did Harry, on that one. Leaves with 10. And a rough final. I bet he gets a lot of requests from young ladies for dates.
The mailbox will be full the next few weeks.
Probably got him anyway, but especially now. Harry Mickelson will now get an opportunity to bowl one more ball. That's the man who won, folks, with his head down.
It won't sink in for 2-3 days, Steve. And Harry ends it with another 10-pin.
171. Mike Lichstein, with all his pals from New Jersey. Kidlets of America, the official bowling club they're part of, they're mobbing it. Just like a winning football coach.
What a moment. What a moment.
So Mike Lichstein becomes the first ever left-handed champion at the High Roller Tournament. This one at the Showboat in Las Vegas. And stay with us, because when we return, we'll have the awards presentation of the Ebonite Trophy and the big $200,000 check.
There's a level of performance that separates the good from the great. That's why Carmen Salvino designed the Ebonite Thunderbolt. The exclusive power core increases gyroscopic action for a sharper hook on heavy oil. And the Thunderbolt rolls farther before hooking, so it hits harder for less deflection and more striking power. The difference between good and great is the power of the Thunderbolt.
As anyone who reads the Wall Street Journal can tell you, it takes money to make money. Specifically, it takes 47 cents a day.
Call 800-228-1900 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-228-1900 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Welcome back here to the Showboat with Mike Lichstein, the winner of $200,000, first place in the 7th annual High Roller Tournament. Congratulations. All your supporters were back here. How much did they help you?
I don't think I could have done it without him, Steve. I can't believe it. It's great. Coming to the Showboat has always been a pleasure. Mr. Jack Cook and Judy Moore, they do a great job. The Showboat's always one of my favorite houses. And again, for the KOA, that's for them right there.
Kidlets of America, your bowling club.
I'll tell you what, he's only 19 years old. I'm sure he'll be on the Showboat many, many more years in all the other lanes around the country earning big money. And we have some presentations for you, Mike. First, the Vice President and National Sales Manager from Ebonite, Mr. Bill Suffer. Bill?
Mike, on behalf of Ebonite International, I'd like to congratulate you on your high roller championship and the $200,000. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just one of many trophies and awards that I know you have on your mantle. And now, even more important than the trophies, the money. And to make that presentation from the Showboat with the check that will be cashed, lovely Miss Judy Moore.
Thanks, Judy.
On behalf of Mr. Kennedy, President, Chairman of the Board, and the Showboat crew, congratulations.
Thank you.
Look at that. Okay. Now the first question. What does a 19-year-old do with $200,000?
200,000 compact discs.
Are you going to open up that long sought-after record store you've talked about?
I'll talk to my father. That was a long shot, but came true. It'd be nice.
What do you think your father's thoughts are right now? Larry, the former star pro, and he's still active in the tour.
I don't know what he's going to do. I think he'll probably have a heart attack. I think so. He always told me I could do it, and it was hard to believe. After Atlantic City, that was a great shot, and it didn't come true, but it seemed like just the 710 was the key at the Showboat. The whole, the last round and today was just falling, and I guess it all came back to me.
All right, Bill Allen is here with you, and I know, Bill, you had a comment about the outstanding style that Mike employed today.
He wouldn't want to hear this, but he looks like a pelican taking flight. But he gets the job done, and he did it here. 200,000. Congratulations, Mike. It was a great week.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, Mike Lichstein, who has a pro career ahead of him, but he might have to take a pay cut because you don't get $200,000 payday. Many bowlers received a big payday at this tournament. Places 5 through 8 took home $10,000, including Joe Amling of Florida, Darren Klaus of Missouri, Craig Morga of Michigan, and Robert Newmeyer of Florida. And again, our top 4. Charles Marshall from Torrance, California was in 4th place with $25,000. Ed Karwinski of Mount Clemens, Michigan had $50,000 for 3rd. Harry Mickelson of Kodiak, Alaska took home $100,000, and our champ Mike Lichstein $200,000. This concludes the 7th annual High Roller Tournament from the Showboat here in Las Vegas. 19-year-old Mike Lichstein wins the $200,000 top prize by beating Team USA member Harry Mickelson. What an event.
Steve, it's been a great week. We've all enjoyed it. We're looking forward to coming back next year. We all share this moment with Mike and congratulate him and all the other bowlers. Just a great week.
I'll tell you what, 1,403 bowlers from all over the world took part in this event, and you can enter, too. It's the greatest amateur event in the world. A $200,000 top prize. For Bill Allen, I'm Steve Gratt. Thanks for joining us, and so long from the Showboat in Las Vegas. This has been Attorney Enterprises presentation produced by Cinefit Enterprises in association with ESPN.